same with today. Renegades getting the same. It is crazy. There's upsets happening. And is this the time for either of these guys to make a long, long run this weekend?
Absolutely could be, but it's going to be Atlas starting off with the possession and trying to make sure of it. It's going to be an interesting one, and I expect we will know pretty quickly in this series if it's going to be that close or if it'll be that big blowout. Obviously, Twitch has put their prediction on blowout.
I think we kind of have to look at Disconnected too, because they've been quite nervous, underperforming in a very realistic scenario, the first ever RLCS. You're going to be a bit nervous. We'll have to see in this game if it continues on here for Disconnected, or if we've seen from many other teams in the region, they've gotten over those nerves and improved.
Yeah, I mean, first regional was such a big deal. First regional ever in RLCS. Asia was expected, but you also expect those to start to be conquered by the time you get to this third regional, and for the teams that are making top 8 consistently in particular.
There's that advantage right now of, these guys, they know they're not necessarily going to make the major. At this point in time, they're trying to get that first mental breakthrough of a top 4, a top 2, and think towards the next split. Maybe even think towards Worlds and think towards getting a pretty big bag this weekend.
Yeah, well, it's going to be big results for one team today in particular, but we've got to wait to see who it is. There's not that many teams left with that chance, like you're saying. Does take the pressure off of these guys a little bit, but they still have the pressure of trying to perform, trying to earn points towards Worlds, and Abs Crazy will earn a point in this game right now.
Great stuff from Disconnected. A little bit of pressure to set this up, and that was what caused AtlasGaming to slow the ball down in the corner. Disconnected getting the first goal in the first 2 minutes.
Yeah, a little bit of a misplay off the backboard there to make sure that the goal opening was available to Disconnected, and they've struck it well. So it's a good start for Disconnected, and they should be a team that can capitalize on even small mistakes, really.
Could also see Disconnected be able to create mistakes, not just from the pressure we just saw, but maybe from that demo game that they are known for bringing out. In particular, Abs Crazy going crazy with the demos at the same time. Disconnected at the moment, they're stuck in defense, and this is the first chance for AtlasGaming, but a good intercept from Blue, and it might just be into the net, saved out by Sipso before anyone else from Disconnected could arrive.
It's all Disconnected's pressure right now, and they're firing again. Blue does thread the needle in. So much defense available and nothing in that corner of the net. Blue just perfectly positions that shot.
Bit of aerial dominance from Disconnected too. You saw AtlasGaming, in particular Sipso, hanging in the net, not quite sure when to go up for that, and that was just because Disconnected were constantly keeping it away from him.
I'm just waiting until Atlas gets a bit of control on the ball right now. They are giving it away to Disconnected, giving them a little bit of space, and then not being able to pull it back in any meaningful fashion on the field. It's the field domination is entirely in Disconnected's half in the first half of this match.
Good setup here by AtlasGaming, though. That flick has tested the Disconnected defense. Zipso as well, the star player we're looking for to create the goals, is hanging forward, but the demo may have stopped that attack, and now Disconnected will take it to the other end.
Abs Crazy with a little bit of ball control there, but doesn't get it to any teammates. It will come back out of their half, though, and Acrox can hold it in this midfield. This is going to be a proving point for a lot of teams in Asia, is whether they can hold that midfield line, whether they can create that attacking pressure and yet hold defense further upfield.
That's something we've noticed in the first season of RLCS for APAC South, and, APAC in general. Just not quite being able to hold pressure for long amounts of time, just not having that quite solid rotation or not getting far back enough to keep that ball going in. And Disconnected, early on in this game, we did see that come out from them, so they've figured somewhat out and may be able to continue that, but AtlasGaming have been able to break out their defense when it's necessary.
Oh, the defense is failing a little bit right now. It's not going to cost them immediately, and Blue going for that demo. Maybe the communication not quite there, as Abs Crazy didn't come up for it in time. Nearly gets the solo play, though, as Disconnected is proving on all aspects across the field right now that they're more dominant. I'm looking towards that same factor that we've seen across Asia as a whole. in that time it takes them to warm up sometimes.
Especially with Disconnected keeping the ball so high. Every single time it feels they're way more comfortable than AtlasGaming. They're going to be high again too, hitting the backboard with a double. That could have been a great setup by Kaizen. Unfortunately, no finish there from Blue, but you can see exactly what we're talking about. Every time the ball's high, it looks so comfortable for Disconnected. But AtlasGaming, when it's up there, they're draining all their boost and not getting the right touches from it.
That's a great center there. Sipso's defense holding up very, very well, but he has the boost to actually carry that forward and makes a bit of a misplay. I'm liking Disconnected, just slowing it down with no time left. They've secured the win, and it's good due to good playing really across the board.
And where were those nerves? We didn't get to see it, which is beautiful for us. We find playing up to their potential. They looked very confident in the attack. They were sending members forward. They weren't afraid of going. And AtlasGaming are now going to have to figure out what they do to stop Disconnected at that midfield line.
Absolutely, and that lack of nerves is why Disconnected looked like I expect them. They looked like their team was back in APL matches, in the stuff that just didn't mean quite as much, if I may say so. RLCS can change the way you play. It can make you clam up, but it hasn't done that right now for Disconnected. This is what we've been waiting for out of them.
That being said, Atlas, we've seen them make comebacks throughout the Swiss bracket as well. They had a close game 5 against what was the Asia Manji team that came top 4 and they got through to this stage. A 2-game loss. They'll be able to follow that up. They'll be able to adapt. And I'm expecting a heavy ground game, a lot more demos and disruption plays in order to stop this momentum.
Yeah, I'm expecting them to be warmed up. It's been a consistent thing. We mentioned it in that game, and I do think that it's a big problem. They have come through, though, in the past, like you're talking about, and I do think that they will again. This is going to even up at some point. It just may not even up in series score if Disconnected can keep that little bit ahead of them.
I think it's actually perfect as well for AtlasGaming that it is a best of 7. Teams that are able to go for reverse sweeps, that can take it through a game 5, are usually going to get there more often than not. There'll be a lot more overtimes. Oh, this is open! Oh. Dirk, end to end, has just pinched into the Disconnected net.
Atlas finally one up, and it's only taken seconds to do so. This is the start they needed. I mean, it is a runaway goal. They didn't have to fight for it too hard, but that's definitely got the ball rolling and got some momentum on their side. Maybe that warms them up even faster.
Somewhat a little bit of lack of experience showing in these moments from Blue there, being able to provide the pinch opportunity over to AtlasGaming. So still see a little bit of those nerves coming through, even if they're a lot more stable, and it's exactly what we're expecting in the event number 3, that they have gotten so much better.
So getting in behind that, Atlas has now got the advantage on the aggression, and this is something we didn't see it all last game. Maybe an opportunity to dunk. Oh, Acrox can finish it though.
That was a little bit tense there on whether Acrox would be able to score that. Great setup by Sipso. You can see why he is the star player on offense. And AtlasGaming 2-0 down now to 2-0 up.
Yeah, I think Sipso was actually going for the shot there. He had that spike. It was so close. It would have been a great goal on its own, but finished well, and that's what counts here. They are up by yet another point, and now they have a bit of a buffer here. They can be a bit more comfortable, and they are a more defensive team than Disconnected is, I think. So that could benefit them greatly.
Especially with Sipso and Acrox having such a strong offensive duo, it has allowed Dirk to play a lot more solidly all around. And AtlasGaming, a 2-goal lead. Is this something that you're expecting them to be able to keep, or will they keep on the attack?
Yeah, I do. I actually do think that they can hold on to this. They may lose a point here, but once I see Atlas with that 2-goal lead, they are comfortable with a buffer, and it makes their defense even better. They can now push up to the midfield like they're doing now and try and hold off to just that field domination. I do think that they will be able to hold on to this and take it to a win, but there's still 3 minutes left. And this kind of domination with the ball means that Disconnected can push back.
That's the Disconnected offense we were looking for. They're really powerhouse here. And Acroc's not able to get to that ball, opening it up for Blue. Good setup by Abs Crazy to get them 1 goal back.
Yeah, it's a massive goal back as well. In a lot less time than I was expecting it to take Disconnected to score here once Atlas had that confidence. So it's good to see Disconnected can just skill through that. It really did take them. Another shot here, using that skill again, but it goes away off of Kaizen, and both Abs Crazy and Kaizen completely out of boost. Yet still, they're allowed to continue their offensive.
Abs Crazy is looking pretty good too. Unfortunately, the miss is probably what people will remember, but he was able to cut off the play in the first place, get a nice shot on towards net. And it just seems a matter of time as Disconnected keep driving forward, keep finding openings on the pitch, but a missed touch. That's not going to help Disconnected. And now AtlasGaming, they may even have a chance though. Abs Crazy, a long air dribble. Really nice setup, and Disconnected can't find it past AtlasGaming, but they're giving it their best.
Turns out that mistouch can absolutely help Disconnected. He had a player right underneath him. I don't think that it was calculated. Do not get me wrong. It was definitely a misplay, but it benefited them there. They just weren't able to capitalize off of it. And maybe that's because Disconnected are finally starting to feel a little nerves when they're 1 down.
Disconnected as well. How looking for a few pass plays. A miss in front of net. Blue has the chance. He just has to get the angle. What a save from AtlasGaming. But it's not over just yet. Kaizen for another. Abs Crazy keeping it in too. Disconnected have had so many attacking opportunities in just the last minute, and they're not going to stop now. They're still in the attack. AtlasGaming finally struggling, finally getting it out.
Actrox's defense there, though, held out so massively. That should have been an even game, and now Disconnected has to fight back for it.
Zipso.
But they're under fire. Zipso finds the backboard. What an angle.
That is beautiful. Double taking it so far to the left that no one from Disconnected could even get close. And that makes that angle beautiful. AtlasGaming now 2 goals in the lead, looking to bring this series back to a tie.
When I saw that 2-0 scoreline, this is kind of the scoreline I expected us to finish on. Did not think they would get away without a goal from Disconnected. They're just too good on attack for that. But they've held out. They've got 1 more back, and they're back to that 2-goal buffer.
You know what's the most beautiful thing about watching AtlasGaming and watching Zipso make plays like that is that he's also the highest saves of any player across APAC South in every single regional. He is all over the pitch. He's a star player here for AtlasGaming, and this is what we knew would need.
Oh!
And that's the 4th goal. Dirk sinking 1 in and sinking Disconnected's chances.
And with defense available here, I think that this was just a miscalculation. I think Disconnected didn't think that was a shot on target, but it sure was. Sunk it well, and now AtlasGaming has well and truly secured this one out. I thought they had when they had the 2-0 lead, but when you get 3 up, 4-1 with no time left on the board, AtlasGaming could have held out a 2-goal lead to win this one out, and now they are so much further forward than that.
AtlasGaming defense has really been on form. This could have been 3, maybe even 4 goals for Disconnected, but AtlasGaming time after time finding that save, finding it on the line, staying cool under that pressure and winning the game. AtlasGaming bring it back to 1-1.
It's that staying power that Atlas has, that they're able to come in here, look at those saves. 6-0. Disconnected fell apart on defense there, but a lot of the time that's because it was Atlas's style of play, that response play style that brought them those goals without anybody there to make an impact on a save point.
A lot more often too, AtlasGaming were defending their backboard. They were getting up into those spaces high above their net, so Disconnected couldn't play so easily in the air where they seemed the most comfortable. And then it was just a matter of Zipso setting up plays, using the other backboard and just turning it on Disconnected's head.
First game, it was Disconnected looking like themselves. Second game, it's Atlas playing their game, and that is the beauty of APAC, when you see these teams be able to bring their playstyle to the fore and conquer with it.
I can't believe that from Sipso too. That first touch, a thing of beauty, because he also had to race out that midfield player to get to that touch first, and then still at the same time know that he'd be able to get the double.
With almost no time left, they made it a 3-goal lead, and that was a big thing for the next match as well, I think. They really did start to run away with that, and Atlas having confidence on their side means that they have that staying power even on a 0-0 scoreline. Starting again now, and they've got that. They just have to score one to be ahead and be in a position where they can hold a lead, which is exactly where they feel comfortable.
It feels very apt that we started this game in the AtlasGaming defense as well. That's where they seem to live, and it's drawing Disconnected into sometimes an overcommitting position.
It is interesting, though, because I think Disconnected likes to be in their opponent's half. It's really just a battle of playstyles right now, and Abs Crazy nearly wins that battle for a moment, and it's set up again as Sipso actually makes a bit of a dangerous play across the net to try and bring to safety. Fortunately for him, it does pay off.
The beauty as well of being a team like AtlasGaming, who are making a lot of clutch saves, who are giving opportunities almost to Disconnected. Blue getting this goal, and well, that's an opportunity you don't want to be giving away.
This is where Disconnected adopts a lot of what I would normally call a one-knee play style. They have those two players sent up. They're the, you might want to call them ball chasers, but they're better than that. Then you've got Blue. Blue comes in and he is the head on that team. He knows how to make plays like that, and the solo plays really become his a lot of the time when you reach those ground level plays.
I was going to say as well, being able to save so many balls on the line is a great way to make your opponents frustrated, because Disconnected would have felt like they were meant to win the last game. And it just drags them more into a more and more offensive mindset, and that's when AtlasGaming can strike. But that doesn't work when you're a goal behind. They almost found the goal there. They do find the goal. Acrox with the angle.
Acrox proving that Asia has multiple styles of play here, and that they can pay off dividends. They even this one up, and Atlas is on the path back to a second game. Disconnected holding them even at the moment. They need to get that attack on and play their game if they want to hold it. Right now they might be able to. Ooh.
There's a difference between being able to strike on the net and being able to strike like AtlasGaming are. Every single shot seems to be in the perfect point, and that's where Disconnected have fallen a little short. That's where nerves can get to you, where you just rush your shot a bit more than necessary, and it goes off, but Blue, he's just given the dunk over the fence.
Yeah, pinch off the opponent here. Dirk just making a little bit of a misplay. He thought he could get a good 50 here and force it out to the midfield, but it comes off really well for Disconnected, and now they have a lead they can build on. This is where Disconnected starts to run away with games, when they know that they've got that in their head, and they can really push forward and start making goal after goal. It has to be in a row for them.
Let's see if there could be a goal here for AtlasGaming. Dirk from the midfield. He's the one starting to score all the goals for Atlas.
I said that this game could either blow out or be really even. Can I take the option of both right now? Because there is going to be a lot of goals in this game at this rate.
Blue just rushed himself a little bit. Well, I guess he expected that Dirk was able to get that in at 150 Ks, and that ended up being a little bit of a rough viewing there for Disconnected and for Blue. And now AtlasGaming, it's going to be Sipso again, using that backboard that we've seen be very, very successful for him.
Now it is in that midfield again, and this is where things get very interesting, because both teams seem to play that midfield fairly well evenly. Disconnected have been able to hold a midfield defense, don't get me wrong, but when it's sitting there, when it's anybody's game, that's when it becomes very questionable between these two, and you can see goals pop out very, very quickly.
Good shot again, showing the placement, and Sipso being a nuisance. Looking for those extra touches that'll fool the defense. coming out of nowhere. But on the other end, Disconnected looking for a shot of their own. But now Abs Crazy's gone the other way. Back to back, it was almost a goal for both teams.
Well, it's been a goal for both teams back to back every time they've scored this game so far. And now it's going to have to be one sooner rather than later because we only have 1:46 left on the clock. It's AtlasGaming with the aggression right now, but Abs Crazy will clear out, trying to follow it through, but can't get that 50-50.
Ooh, good idea by Acrox, but he needed to just go straight for the shot. Sometimes if you go for that dribble into a pass, you'll end up getting red too easily, and it's just another dunk. Abs Crazy in the midfield. He's going to find one that was not expected for Atlas.
Disconnected played that fast, aggressive game, and pinches like this come out of that a lot of the time. If you strike while an opponent is not ready for that contact out of a second player, often pinches come off, very unfortunately for the defending side of that play.
And that was 2 plays in a row there from AtlasGaming where they had a pass available and they still wanted to go for that pass, but they took the slow play, they took the dribble first, and that's what's allowing Disconnected to see it happen. I think if they just take the pass immediately, just go and hit the ball straight to their teammate, it comes out so much faster, it's way less interceptable, and they get the goal. But Kaizen, he's going to get another one, and AtlasGaming, they're not going to be happy that they've given 2 goals here.
And what a run-up field, just the speed that Kaizen chased that with. Absolutely outspeeding his opponent's expectations there. They were getting ready to just take control of it, and he's on top again, going, nope, that is mine.
What I like here is that Disconnected hasn't pushed up overly far like they did in that last game. They're getting to positions now where they're keeping the ball more stuck in the midfield rather than stuck in Atlas's half. So now Atlas has to pull out of that defense, out of that net, and it creates more openings, more gaps in the rotation that Disconnected can take advantage of.
Another big 50-50 pinch there, goes wide across the field, but it's not going to benefit Disconnected this time. AtlasGaming one more back into this, but with 25 seconds left, can they make it count?
The goals just won't stop. Acrox getting another one, and we've seen that before. He just goes up, finds a good angle, and now 25 seconds left to go. Atlas can certainly do this.
7-goal game. This one's certainly gone off for both sides, really, but Disconnected's benefited from it for the most part. Kaizen, the slow play works. He gets the flick, sends it home, and definitely secures out game 3.
Very, very collected here by Kaizen, just to take that slow touch. He could have probably taken the shot in the left-hand side, and most likely would have been a goal, but it also had a higher chance of missing the net completely. So 15 seconds left to go. The 2-goal lead, Disconnected putting themselves in a good spot in this series.
Now, another attempt by Kaizen does get it past 2. It's up. He pops it for his teammates. But it goes to AtlasGaming. They've got one chance to get one and bring back some momentum, but Disconnected find the ground there, take the game, and go one up in the series.
Back and forth game, and a back and forth series thus far. Blue this time stepping up a little bit, mostly in the defensive half for Disconnected. And, I mean, a high-scoring game, Gex.
Yeah, but I mean, look at the stats. They're very similar, even to the last one, which was a totally different scoreline, especially when you look at those saves. They're 5-3. AtlasGaming has that defensive playstyle. It comes through in their stats, and it does work for them. Unfortunately, this time, it was 2 goals off of those pinch with that little bit of luck that won that for Disconnected.
Also want to point out, just 29 touches, the least touches coming out from Sipso, the player that we've been looking for to set up these goals for AtlasGaming. That means they're not creating the room, that Sipso's not finding the spaces or the opportunities to go for that backboard play in the first place.
Yeah, and it's so important that all players across the team really play their part. When you see low touches on a key one in particular, that is worrying for sure. But you know what? The kind of goals that were scored, the back and forth in that game doesn't make me worry for Atlas too much. They're definitely still in this.
The good thing too is we've seen AtlasGaming a lot more controlled in the air, a lot more willing to challenge, and even with Sipso, when he is in that attack, holding good aerial positions too. So now it's no longer Disconnected owning the skies, AtlasGaming owning the grounds. It's kind of a much more even battle in both areas of the pitch.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I started talking about that midfield. It does become dangerous when it sits there because that's so even. When you've got not that far to either end of the goals, you see something come out very quickly a lot of the time. And it didn't this time, but it is an area of the field that both of these teams are going to have to watch closely.
We've also seen AtlasGaming, 2 of the goals against them from Disconnected, were AtlasGaming kind of playing it slow in certain moments, slow out of defense, trying to keep too much control of the ball at times. And you know what Disconnected do? They just challenge and they just get a goal. So AtlasGaming may be able to speed it up and change where Disconnected are challenging from.
Yeah, being adaptable, particularly for the lower end of these top 8 teams that are consistently making it here, that's going to be very, very, very crucial if they want to make their way up that ladder throughout this season. So we are looking for that, particularly here now out of Atlas.
It's really, really important for both these teams to get that top 4. Neither of them have had it just yet, and that could set you up, maybe not necessarily even just for this split, but also for the next one. Neither of them expected or even able to make the major at this point in time, but you're looking at a very fast-growing region. You're looking at the winter split, and this is where it all starts.
But I mean, you look at Atlas, they were Zentra. I believe they've matched up in the first round of the playoffs every single time, every Saturday. They've gone Alki in the past, they were, now Pulse. So that this is probably a chance to push into that top.
I mean, that's not quite true, but they went against Azure, who is just the same beast.
Yes.
Azure have got over them. And Triple Jawa in the same side of this bracket keeps going up against Alki. So tough battles, neither Disconnected or Triple Jawa getting to prove themselves. AtlasGaming have, but they've always fallen just short. And now it's their time to go to that next level.
Well, with the lower bracket, how it is, there's a lot of teams here, all 4 of those lower bracket teams trying to make the most of the opportunity they have while they don't have to go against those top 3. That's blocked away now. Disconnected do have an opportunity, but it's taken away very, very quickly. Atlas on the other side now get it taken away from them as well.
Chance though for AtlasGaming as Sipso's the one on the ball, looking to fake underneath. Abs crazy. Still going to be a chance though for Atlas. They've got the drive forward, and this is where we can see if they'll be able to set up some pressure, go for the boost steals, keep that ball pinned in Disconnected's half for a while. You are seeing the rotation set up for that one, but it's such a good 50 by Abs crazy that it will allow the transition of defense out from Disconnected.
Abs crazy again. The challenge doesn't go his way. Kaizen's the last one back, does find the touch, an important one there. It would have been away from him and lost had he not made it. Blue looking for the bump play, doesn't find it either, and Disconnected are trying different things. They are trying to be adaptable right now, but frankly, at this moment in the game, when nothing has been scored, that's not when you necessarily need to see it. I want to see Disconnected playing their game until they get that first goal at the very least, unless something forces them to change that.
I think somewhat AtlasGaming forcing them into defense for a while has changed the attitude of the game a little bit. And that may be why we're seeing Disconnected looking a little bit disconnected from their playstyle at the same time. AtlasGaming, I think, are the ones that have adapted.
Oh, Blue making good defense away, but a direct shot isn't going to worry them at this point. That's a good setup, though, as Abs Crazy comes out of the net to pull that one out to safety. Kaizen again to push this upfield, and I'm just waiting for Disconnected to start to pick up that speed that they play well under, but it's all Atlas to defend it away again.
Great passing play out of defense, too. That's something that is going to help against the long versions of attack from Disconnected. Just having somebody up there for the pass. They've done it again, AtlasGaming. This is where we see the evolution. Great connection coming out between these guys, and they will even go for another shot, but it's just one straight towards Blue. And that's actually a giveaway of the ball. Blue hitting the backboard. But what a read by Acrox in order to keep it away.
Yeah, Acrox doing well there, but the attack is still on. Kaizen coming through, blocked away again by Acrox. But Abs Crazy will not let this away from Atlas's half. With less than a minute left now, this is looking so different to our last one, and yet just about as close.
From 8 goals down to 0 in these 2 games. You couldn't have it change up anymore, and just a battle in that midfield, a battle for some chances, and it's been going the way of AtlasGaming, but they're still not finding opportunities to score.
Maybe this is the chance for Disconnected to show they have defense. They've definitely racked up more saves already than I think they had in the last 2. And now Blue does get a chance. That's not the pass they need. It was straight at Dirk.
Yeah, I think he was caught between whether he wanted to go for the pass or the shot, and it ended up being not really either of them. AtlasGaming, though, almost underneath. Acrox coming in now, and Sipso with his shot. It's going to get blocked out by Blue, who we have to admit has been fantastic on the defensive side for Disconnected. As the clear comes out for AbCrazy, it hits the ground, and now an important game and an important overtime.
Very, very important one. Atlas want to even the series up here, but it's Disconnected to get the first chance. A good little drop down, and Sipso is herded away from the ball. Now, can Disconnected hold that midfield defense again and push this forward, put on the pressure? Right now, there is the chance. Blue takes the shot, but Dirk blocks it away.
Incredibly clutch. Dirk, the player we didn't know too much of at the start of the season, and he's making a real name for himself in this series at both ends of the pitch. AtlasGaming have had to hold on for a while, and they've finally found a bit of a reprieve. Disconnected, though, bring it back to their half. In the next few seconds, they will still be able to take advantage of the boost situation. A clear across, but no one from Disconnected quite ready to take the shot. Even still, Abs Crazy setting it up in the middle. A bit of a tough play out from the defense of AtlasGaming. A shot on, it's not in. It gets saved once again by AtlasGaming. And even still, the attack continues. Another shot, but what a clear out from Acrox to really release the pressure.
How long can both of these teams keep up a 0-0 scoreline? We're into our 6th minute of gameplay now, and it doesn't look to be ending anytime soon, despite some strong attacks. Kaizen forming another one right now. Maybe this is it. He gets the backboard, reads it down. The shot is good, and a minute 22 is what it took.
What a legend. Kaizen hitting the backboard, getting the double in overtime. Nerves couldn't be higher, but for Kaizen, he's ice cold.
Well, this could not be a 4-0, but it may be a 4-1 at this rate. Disconnected a 1 away. The ability to bring this back into their control.
This has been clutch from Disconnected in a moment where AtlasGaming, in a game where AtlasGaming seemed to really turn up the notch to 11. Disconnected, not too phased. Still able to find the goals. More importantly, able to defend through that midfield plays. And what a way to finish there for Kaizen.
Yeah, a huge, huge final goal, especially when you'd been going for what seems like forever without a single goal on board. How different was that from our last game?
That's where the nerves really... we've been talking about APAC South and their nerves and how it's gone from 1 to 3. That's got to be the most nerve-wracking situation. Long overtime, 0-0, tense moments, and moments as well where both teams were pinned in defense for almost a minute. You gotta really give credit to the growth of these guys. I think just 4 weeks ago, they would have all just completely crumbled under that pressure.
Enter Kaizen up with control with a little bit of boost left, watching it come off a backboard and just knowing that you can hammer it home. You have to have that confidence at that moment to be able to do it. So, you know, he did bring it through with that, but man, it's all on Team Atlas now to bring it back. They are under pressure a lot more now than they were before.
Especially when you see Disconnected kind of all pick it up at the same time. And you see that from Kaizen. But Abs Crazy has been fantastic in the air throughout the entire series too. Blue has been all around on the defense. So we're going to need to see somebody pick it up. Sipso still hasn't been finding those opportunities that he was earlier in the series. Maybe it's him, or maybe it's Acrox finding some more room on the pitch as well.
Oh, you mentioned the game before that Acrox wasn't finding touches, and Sipso, sorry, wasn't finding touches. They did find more then, but were they meaningful? I mean, they didn't manage to get a goal out of that game. They really need somebody to step up, as you were saying, and Sipso's defense stepping up right there and then.
Starting to get a little worried about AtlasGaming too, because it's starting to harken back to that game 1, game 2, where they weren't covering their backboard well. And we've already seen in that last game and this one, the backboard is where Disconnected are attacking. So we'll see if they are able to notice that in the middle of the series. Because at the moment, Disconnected has started off this game pretty strong.
It's not just where they're attacking, it's where they're succeeding right now. It's a ground play, though. The pass into Blue smashes that home 128 kph.
These are the most beautiful plays in Rocket League. It doesn't look fancy, but how hard is it to save when you've got a shot coming in so fast, when the change of direction is just so critical? First goal after it took the entire game of the last for even one person to score.
Incredibly important for Disconnected, but even more worrying for AtlasGaming as well. They needed to be the first on the board here if they wanted to be able to hold a scoreline the way they are comfortable doing. And right now they have to claw it back again as Blue sends that up. It's actually another opportunity for Disconnected, though. They just will not let up on the attack right now.
Disconnected, they're just keeping AtlasGaming stuck there in a spot that AtlasGaming early on were comfortable with, but as we get closer and closer to potential ending of the series, it's not just a game on the line, it's the series on the line, and being able to go for those clutch saves becomes so much more difficult.
And so much more important, as there is only one goal in this. Every save will count, and every shot will as well. Now I need to see Atlas forming some pressure of their own. I know it's not where they're comfortable playing, but their playstyle isn't working out against Disconnected. They have too much confidence for that now, and AtlasGaming don't have a scoreline to sit on.
That 1-goal lead and even the 3-game lead here is clearly leading Disconnected to be so confident to push forward, where, as you said, they're most comfortable, where they're most confident being in the front half, and that's off the defender. I think that should have been saved, but Abs Crazy's going to ensure it goes in.
I mean, there was an attempt. Abs Crazy just got right in front of Sipso, made sure that yet again another 50 off the defender pinches into the net. The 50-50s coming out of Disconnected have been so confident.
And as you saw, Abs Crazy just getting a little extra change in direction, so Sipso ends up being in front of where he'd like that challenge to go. That's why it pinches in the net. That's why we're going to Disconnected 3-0. Disconnected. It took them 5 games, but now they're in charge.
Yeah, it's finally opening up. And when those floodgates open, it's Disconnected flowing through from the other side. Overwhelming Atlas right now. But still half a game left. 3-goal lead for Disconnected would have been insurmountable before. A 4th may be the nail in the coffin, even at the halfway point in this match.
Kaiser as well, off the kickoff, he just drove straight forward. The confidence levels at an all-time high. I'm starting to realize why Pulse was saying Disconnected should have been the number 2 team in the region.
They're some of the best players in the region. They just haven't been able to mesh, to gel, to get past the nerves, whatever it may be, until this moment. They have had harder matchups, but this should have been close, and relatively has been, but Disconnected are now 4-0, an absolute blowout for them in this last match, and they may continue it if Abs Crazy had any boosts, for it goes right over the 100, but it doesn't spawn in time.
Even still, you see that Abs Crazy likes to just hang behind the ball and try and let AtlasGaming come. That's just so smart from an inexperienced RLCS player to go for those plays. Love to see it. Now AtlasGaming, they're the ones in such a difficult position. As you said, it's just getting more and more impossible for them to bring this back.
Well, even on 0 boost, the guy with the ball that's defending that possession should be the one that comes across with the successful 50. That's yet another goal for Disconnected. It is definitely put away from them at this point. AtlasGaming just have to make the best bad situation now.
And once again, where's the... they're up there looking to defend out, looking to get that cleared. That's what we're missing from AtlasGaming. That's where most of the goals have been scored by Disconnected in the last couple of games. We want to see someone pushing up there, and I'm sure after they look at the replays of this series, we'll see AtlasGaming learn from their mistakes and come back stronger in the next event.
They almost get one back there, but it's just taken away. There's no chase, there's no life out of AtlasGaming, and I understand why, but you don't want to see that. There's still more game to be played, and there's more to be learned out of this, particularly for a new region. Coming into RLCS, it is all about building for that first time. You have to make every moment count.
Plus, Simso would like, to stay on top of those stats boards. He's had such a great season so far, and a major part of this success for AtlasGaming, in terms of the stats, of course, but 5-0 loss will go ahead against them, and Disconnected, they're the ones really driving up their value here. Getting 5 goals, getting a 4-1 it seems in this series, and they're just a few seconds away from their first ever semi-final.
They're a few seconds away from proving all of the fans that they had, the long-term Asia watchers. They're proving them right. They're coming through. They're showing exactly what Alki Pulse was saying, that these guys can contest that number 2 spot in the region. They may not yet be able to take down those big boys at the top there. They conquer the mountain that is Pulse, but they are showing that life. They're showing what people wanted to see out of them.
I hope people have been watching this one closely, because Disconnected, Abs Crazy, Blue, and Kaizen are going to be names you see, not just throughout this weekend, but over and over again in APAC South, and they're going through for their first semi-final. What a series coming out from Disconnected.
Absolutely huge stuff out of them, and so important securing that 4th place spot. They're going to be looking for second coming out of that one.
800